No weapon formed against us will prosper. So the sharks that are the narcissists that are top of the demonic food chain, the shark is a weapon, and no weapon used against us will prosper. Well, I was in Chippewa, Indiana this weekend for a life leadership conference, which was it's all Amish, and it's extremely dark in the countryside because there's no artificial lighting. And we were gathered with about 500 people in Indiana, which was probably illegal because of this COVID reality. But I guess I started to realize how I don't really belong with those people. I do belong, but I don't belong. And so now I'm putting on my tin hat of craziness. But I wanted to tell you what happened when I was in the car looking at the sky. Okay, so I was in the car, I was in the back seat this weekend in Indiana, in Amish country, and it was so dark that the stars in the sky were magnificent. So I'm looking up at the stars, and the women in the car are saying, "Oh, that's Pleiades, the seven sisters." And then underneath it, there was a constellation, and God showed me, I saw a pyramid of geometry. You see this octahedron? It's at the very bottom circle in front. I saw the shape. It went from stars to a three-dimensional octahedron. And I realized that when God talks about the second heaven, when God speaks about demonic principalities in the second heaven, they have geometric pyramids and other structures of the abode of the house of the fallen angels. This is their residence. So this is what the domains of the principalities, the demonic fallen angels, this is their domain, their structure. They actually live in geometric, three-dimensional pyramids, much like what you're looking at in the second heaven, which is located in the constellations. So I could see the structures. They were being revealed to me. They're real. That's where their operations rooms are, their war rooms, their generals sit. Well, they talk about the Most High God. That's not where the Most High God sits. But the pagan gods sit, for example, in these octahedrons, or the Merkaba, or the isohedron, or the cube, Metatron. You getting the picture? And they strategize over those of us on the earth that are the children of God from their area of location. Okay, Matthew 18 through 20 says, "Truly, I say to you, whatever things," and things would be like the demon of suicide, the demon of hate, the demon of unforgiveness, the demon of resentment, the demon of hopelessness, the demon of suicide, the demon of death, you may bind on earth, shall be bound in heaven. So this is where the demonic spirits are bound, in these sacred geometries of the octahedron, the cube, the tetrahedron. That's where you're binding them to. You're not binding them with the third and most high heaven. You're binding them in the second heaven in the constellations, where I saw a structure of a tetrahedron. Okay, so tetrahedrons, pyramids, prisms, and cubes. These geometries are the language of the spirit dimension. Now, stay with me a minute. These are the domain structures within the constellations of the stars that we see at night. Remember when you were a kid and used to do connect the dots? You would connect all the dots and it would create a picture of a whole picture. And that's a house. That is what they call, that's what a house is in the Bible. It's a structure. It's a tetrahedron, it's a cube, it's a dodecahedron, it's an isohedron, an octahedron, or a sphere, or a Merkaba, which is on the top here. It's a pyramid with an upside down pyramid in one. It's a Merkaba. These are houses and structures. These are domains. These are locations in the second heaven. This is where their operations. The stars are angelic boundaries in the skies. They're angels and they're gatekeepers. They're connection points to the sacred geometry of an octagon, which is right here. A Merkaba, a dodecahedron, a isohedron, a cube, and a tetrahedron, and a sphere. Remember, the second heaven is in the constellations, and there's a satanic satellite in those locations that we wirelessly plug into when we are in the works of the flesh and we are worshiping the idol gods, because the idol gods are located in the heavens. And the idol gods' houses are the cube, Metatron, pyramids, tetrahedron, prism. The dimensions of the spirit realm are 3D dimensional shapes, much like what you're looking at. I mean, a circle is a flat dimension, but this is a puffed up sphere. It's a circle with you can see triangles. I see some hexagons. But I could see the structures in the heavens when I looked up. My eyes could, even though no one else in the car could see it, I could see it. But those are the houses, the domains, the strongholds. That's why on the dollar bill, we have a pyramid on the dollar bill. It represents the pyramid in the constellations of the stars. It represents a domain of a demonic principality called Mammon, the god of money. So Satanists, people of ancient days, used pyramids on the earth the same way that we use a Wi-Fi modem in our office, in our homes. Okay, now you're saying to yourself, Miss Sanity, you've lost your sanity. And I say, maybe I have. But now I want to talk about the gems, such as in the geometric shapes that are in the second heaven. The structure of New Jerusalem that will come down from the sky is a cube, but it's made of jasper, sapphire, chalcedony, emerald, sardius, chrysolite, which are crystals, beryl, topaz, chrysoprase, jacinth, amethyst. I'm sorry that I can't speak today. Okay, these represent the firmament. Before it was shattered, and this is what caused the flood in Noah's days, and God killed all the children of Satan, all the hybrids. So these emeralds represent the firmament and also represent the 12. Right, these gems represent the firmament and also represent the 12 foundations of New Jerusalem, which is a cube shape that comes down from the Most High Heaven. It's got pearls and angelics, which, remember what I said, like connect the dots with the stars in the constellation? There will be angels, archangels probably, from God's throne that'll hold the gates of the 12 foundations of the New Jerusalem. So the firmament was shattered by God by the rod of iron of God, and because it never rained. So to destroy the children of Satan, because there is living water above the dome of the firmament. So when God shattered the dome, all of a sudden we have emeralds and diamonds and all the gems you can think of that have rained down into the earth. It came from the firmament above. Okay, there's a phrase, as it is above, so it is below. So when the firmament shattered at Noah's flood, it also flooded from the earth from below. The one thing I want to mention, as you're looking at this spiral that's on a mirror, I want to explain how a mirror will explain the dimensions 3 and 1. In my bathroom upstairs, I've got the front mirror. I've got a mirror with a closet with a mirror on it, and then there's a makeup, like a shaving mirror. And so I'm in the bathroom, but my image is in 3 different places at the same time. So I am physically in the bathroom, but then I'm actually in 3 other places. I'm in 3 different mirrors all at the same time. This is a lot how this works. As it is above, so it is below. Okay, when you're in the northern hemisphere, the energy is counterclockwise, which is what this is. When you're south of the equator, like in Australia, the energy moves clockwise. So counterclockwise will give you what they call a hurricane, and counterclockwise will give you a cyclone. These are the energy fields over the earth because of the magnetic field, because of the pole shift. If you're in an airplane in the bathroom or you're in a ship and you're going over the equator, if you flush the toilet and you're north of the equator, it's going to go counterclockwise. If you go past the equator, south of the equator, the water is going to flush clockwise. So the energy field moves like a magnetic field, and the torus of the earth sits on a mirror. Okay, this image represents the energy field of the earth. The earth is a torus. It looks like a donut. We're looking at the top of it. So there is an energy field. The top of the donut is going counterclockwise, and it goes down through the bottom of the donut and comes out clockwise and goes back up. So it's like a moving energy. Hell and Hades, the underworld, is located in the center of the donut. You probably heard, when they went into Antarctica, there was a hole there to go into the center of the earth. That's because this image that I'm showing you is what the energy field of the earth is. It's not exactly a sphere, but it looks like a sphere. It's actually an energy field of a torus. So the energy field of the earth moves as a torus forced energy, which is the same as our heart pumping in and pumping out blood. Okay, the energy of the earth looks like a torus, what you're looking at, and it's sitting on a mirror. You can see the mirror I have below it. That's where the phrase comes from, that is why they say, as it is above, so it is below. I don't really understand how it works, but the torus of the earth is sitting on a mirror, and so it looks round, because when you put a half circle on a mirror, it becomes a whole circle, because the mirror is reflecting the southern hemisphere. Now, we all exist, and I have a relative in Australia, so I know they're down there. There's people that live down there. It's not an imaginary location. Australia is real. And this is also why the earth flooded from above when God broke the firmament with a rod of iron, and why it also flooded from below.